What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for another episode of 7 on Sunday because it's Sunday morning here on the East Coast and that's what you need at 11 a.m. That's where I've always got it lined up for you. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on weekly episodes of this. So today, I think I have a pretty interesting concept on my hands. It's songs that I can't stand, the ones that I just cannot get into, or else I've heard them way too many times to even be bothered with them by bands that I love. Now, this is something that I'm not unfamiliar to, but at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, how many songs do I really I just hate. I don't like them. I can't get into them whatsoever. And it ended up being a very tough process. It was like a vetting process. I was like, okay, this is a band I like. Okay, there's another band I like. What songs do I not like by them? Or which ones do I just never want to hear? And looking through a lot of these bands, especially ones where I just couldn't even find one, there were bands like Paramore, MCR, and Brand New, where I couldn't come up with a single song that I just didn't like enough that I would want to put it on a list like this. So, rest assured, the ones that actually did make the list, I really don't like them, or else they're songs that I've heard so many times, I couldn't be bothered to hear them again. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you have bands that you love, and they just have a few songs where you're just like, what were they thinking? And you're left scratching your head. Sound off down there, leave a like on this video, and if you're able to, support on either Patreon or TAD, top 2 links in the description.
What you gonna do when the law breaks in? Will you stand your ground or confess your sins? Oh no, you don't know. No, you don't know.
First of all, let me say that I am a Taking Back Sunday fan. Not a huge fan, but they were definitely integral in terms of me getting into music, Louder Now still being one of my favorite albums of all time. It's just, I haven't connected with them as much as of late, but Happiness Now, their record before last, was actually still a really solid effort overall. Some great tracks on there like Better Homes and Gardens, and even Stood a Chance. But this newest album that came out in 2016, Tidal Wave, the title track from that and the lead single just kind of irked me and rubbed me the wrong way, so much so that I never ended up reviewing the album because I was so conflicted on the project as a whole. But this track, Tidal Wave in particular, just felt like a ripoff of the Gaslight anthem combined with maybe some Celtic punk and some like Bostonian region music where, you know, it's like a bar sing-along and then all of that meets Against Me. It's a really weird combination and something just feels off to me in the sense that it just feels like a replica or else a copy of something else. Adam Lazzara doesn't feel distinct here, and in fact, even in the music video for it, he kinda, as a lot of people in the comments pointed out, looks like Bam Margera. So nothing about this song or its music video really feel unique whatsoever. This song was a hard pass for me and something where I was so turned off by it took me a long time to even start to get into some of the songs on the rest of the album. This may be a surprise to see on here, but if you ever watched my review of Currents by Tame Impala, you know that this was easily my least favorite track. A lot of people singled this one out because it just feels so out of place, like a sore thumb. It's like this track that has so many vocoded vocals and they're pitch shifted down to sound really deep, and I was going to the store, It's like telling a story about a man and his lover and that sort of thing. And then Kevin Parker comes in and sings the chorus over this synth-laden beat, and that's fine. In a past life, that's okay. That part of the song is fine. But the rest of it, which is just synthesizers essentially, and them kind of going up and down the scale, and then this pitch-shifted voice, it's like, where exactly did this fit in? This seems like one of those weird ideas that you have and it's like you record it as an iPhone demo, but you never put it to tape, and especially you don't put it on an album, but Kevin Parker pushed for it and it went through, and here we have it on the Tame Impala record, and to him, it makes sense. To the rest of the world, we're kind of left wondering why, because it's like, I understand the song in terms of what it's trying to convey, but the pitch shifting feels so off from the rest of the record that it just is so off-putting, I never want to listen to this song. Did you listen to it? Did you hear it? Did you go back and check out what Fall Out Boy used to do? Did you check out what they're doing now? Young and Menace is flaming garbage. It's horrible. I didn't have high expectations, which I'm kind of loosely ranking this list today, but I only put it at number 5 because I just didn't have high expectations for Fall Out Boy, especially with Pete Wentz making statements like, oh, I only listen to pop-leaning hip-hop and that sort of thing, and they want to make songs that are radio ready. Young and Menace tanked on the charts, fortunately. It had a horrid music video, one of the worst of the year that I saw to go with that. The song is just a disaster of all proportions, and it's like dubstep went out in 2012 and then they tried to bring it back from the dead with this weird kind of edgy feel, like letting it flow in. Lots of pop culture references packed in there, along with all of these weird instruments and an infusion of a weird guitar tone over the chorus that's just beating you over the head with this long, again, another vocal shift thing. Young and a menace, young and menace, young and... It's just like cut up, pasted all over the place. It's like Pete Wentz went into GarageBand or whatever program they used to edit and just had a field day by like layering and looping these vocals. You know what's funny is I actually did a music video parody of this very song, Good Time by Carly Rae and Owl City, with my friend Danny back in the day on a channel that we used to run. And the whole point of our parody was the fact that we would kind of sing this song with like a deadpan face, like no emotion, just drained. And that's how this song feels to me. It feels like someone being forced to be happy. It's like someone's holding you at gunpoint saying, all right, write a song about having a good time and having the best day ever. That's how I pictured the entire song. It's like Adam Young just sitting there, just basically miming the words to it, and the whole time, it's always a good time. I just picture like a group of minions that are being forced to sing this song as a brainwashing technique. It's awful. It's way too happy. Never trust a happy song. Never trust a perfect song. And don't trust it. Wait, what is it?
Because you're young and you don't need a reason to dance. Just like you got your legs from a cartoon dance. Just like you're dumb, like you don't need the money.
Incubus are up next. I know I don't talk about them a ton, but I love a lot of their records like Science and Morning View, even parts of their newest album that came out in 2017. There were some great songs on there, but there were also some total misfires. But even before that, we got the Trustfall Side A, which we never got Side B for a reason, I think, but Side A of the EP contained songs like Absolution Calling, which was okay, and then the completely lackluster 180 left turn that was Dance Like You're Dumb. This is an awful song for Incubus. I feel like it's a stupid song in general, but whenever you have Incubus and Brandon Boyd writing lyrics that are usually very strong, even when he's kind of being tongue-in-cheek and silly and funny, he pokes fun in kind of an intelligent way, but I feel like here, his commentary is lost in this song, where he's talking about picking up a girl and then things kind of going haywire. He references a pink Boba Fett. I don't know exactly. Maybe I don't get the Star Wars reference, but what? The guitar and bass are okay on this song. I think they're kind of vibey, they have a danceable quality to them, and I can get on board with the funk there. But as soon as those lyrics start pouring on, it's like an automatic no. Like, okay, let's close that door and never jump back down that rabbit hole again, because, okay, we had an idea there, but let's shut that down. Let's go back to making good music. And I feel like they kind of got away from that song, like Dance Like You're Dumb. They distanced themselves from the EP. They obviously never did Trustfall Side B, because they were like, oh, we're gonna put out at least 2 EPs in 2015. Well, that never happened, and here we have 8 landing in 2017, a full-length album that was nothing like Dance Like You're Dumb, fortunately. I said this back in my track review a couple of years ago, and I'm going to reiterate it now because I feel like this song is just such an oddball choice from Muse. It doesn't feel like them. The lyrics are complete dog shit in my opinion. They sound awful. The whole drill sergeant thing is just a complete no. It's something that's like you have this idea, okay, we want to bring in a military presence and we want to be commanding and in everybody's face and shock them and scare them. Whereas whenever I hear this voice, I just want to laugh. I even saw this track live and it was like, why? Why do we still have this in the live set? Honestly, Drones as an album has not aged well for me. In fact, it's one of my least favorite Muse albums, and at this point, I know I initially gave it a pretty high rating. I'd probably downgrade that to like a 3 out of 5. This felt like a very weak effort from Muse overall, and Psycho is just the pinnacle of what the problems on the album were. They tried to go for this big political theme, and while some of the tracks totally stuck the landing, some great ones on here, this was not one of those whatsoever. So, just scratch the drill sergeant, scratch the generic riff, let's just scrap this song, period.
Some memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Yes, I have songs that I don't really care for that much from Green Day. They're not one of those bands where I look at them and I'm like, oh, they're perfect, they can do no wrong. Every band and every artist can do wrong, and in my eyes, I feel like Good Riddance, Time of Your Life, one of the closing moments from 1997's Nimrod, is just kind of one of those moments where I know it's trying to be sarcastic, but it takes a nosedive because it became the opposite of what it was meant to be. It was meant to be a sarcastic tune, but it was destined to actually become something that gets played at every prom night ever, every wedding. People are slow dancing. I hope you have the time of your life. And I'm just like, I don't want to hear that acoustic guitar ever. And Billy's voice on it even aggravates me if I'm being honest. It's one of those songs that's trying to, I feel like, be sincere, but also sarcastic, but I feel like the sincerity of it is pushed even further so that the sarcasm is kind of lost, and as a result it becomes a generic, stale wedding song that I never want to hear. I never listen to this song. It's one of those, if somebody starts playing that or if it comes on the radio, like I forget my phone or something and I have to listen to the radio, alternative radio stations still play this thing to this day, and I'm like, why? It's been 20 years and I can't get away from this damn song. That's it for this episode of 7 on Sunday, based around songs that I cannot stand by bands that I love. Sound off your suggestions for future episodes of SOS in the comment section down below. Upvote some of the ones that you like the most, and maybe you'll see them made in the coming weeks. Other than that, don't forget to drop a like on the video, and in just a second you can check the outro card for last week's episode of 7 on Sunday. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because friends don't let friends go unsubscribed. You can go directly to my Patreon if you want to help support the videos by tapping that annotation in the corner there. Last week's episode right here, and another episode right over here that I think you might enjoy. Other than that, socials are in the description, and I'll see you very soon right here on Beyond ARTV.